Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Warp, the completely unnecessary Star Trek podcast where we do unasked for audio commentaries of Star Trek episodes. My name is Sean.
My name is Matt.
I'm Jake.
Erin.
Edwin.
And I'm May.
We're back, everybody. Another week, another harrowing hellscape we all live in.
Yep. Pretty much.
Sean, I've been listening to these
And if,
episodes.
hey, you know what? If we can provide a 1 hour of giggles and solace for you in this, well, what I said, then that'll make me happy.
Yep.
When is this episode coming out? Is it like December?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's almost January, I would think.
We're in real life, we're 9 days away from the most important election in the history of America. By the time this episode airs, it'll all be over, and we'll either all be alive or dead.
Wow.
This episode will air on December 11th.
So,
Is everybody
right in the
voted
middle of the
for it?
holiday
Holiday
season.
seasons. Happy holidays, guys.
So I hope you've got your Christmas shopping done, everybody.
We'll have started our advent calendars already.
In 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, the episode 2 weeks from now is called Time Squared. That episode comes out on Christmas Day.
Drops on
It's
Christmas
a Christmas
Day.
miracle.
Aw, Christmas present for everybody.
So when we record that one, we'll have to remember that it's going to be our Christmas episode so that we
Yes.
can do our Christmassy things for that
I'll
episode.
make a note of it.
I don't remember anything I say on this podcast. No dice.
Well,
What are we
today
doing, Sean?
we're watching Next Generation Season 2, Episode 11, Contagion. Such an apt show for us to be watching these days. And I've got 45 minutes and 37 seconds on the clock, and I'm punching the triangle in 3, 2, 1, punch.
Is it a virus episode?
Sure.
Yeah, kind of.
I didn't get that far into it.
I was going to ask who watched it.
I watched like a third to 2/3 of it.
Oh, that's not bad.
Wow. And it's not even a whoopee episode.
I know. I was taking the positive reinforcement that Matt gave me last week.
I think I've watched about a third of it, 2/3 of it, because I slept through the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's
Well, it
not
must
a
not have
I
been,
had to
it must
shred
not
my
have been
face.
very compelling if neither of you were able to make it all the way through to the end. It must not be a very good one.
It's not particularly
Yeah,
interesting.
we watched. May and I watched it the whole way through. It was okay. It was all right.
It's just okay.
It has a good Pulaski moment.
Oh, I missed that.
Where she yells at the guy.
Yeah. She's like, "Nut up, dude."
In Star Trek's Doctor Speak.
Yeah.
Is this a Romulan episode? They're talking about going
Yes. Yeah. You
Yes.
actually see some Romulans in the episode.
Is that the regular Romulan bad guy? Admiral Tomalak or whatever his name is?
No. It's a new
It's
one.
another
I think.
Enterprise.
Yes, that's the Yamato.
Yamato.
We've talked about this before, man. The Enterprise has a sister ship called the Yamato.
Does it just only have one other sister ship, or are there a bunch of Enterprises in the Starfleet?
It's just those two. I think the actual like in canon answer is that those two were the first two to be built.
Mhm.
There are other ships in the Galaxy class, which is the kind of ship that Enterprise is. But I think the Enterprise and the Yamato were the first two, so that's why they always call the Yamato their sister ship.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because they were built at the same time. There is some weird background noise happening right now. Somebody.
Who's Xeroxing?
Oh, it stopped. Whoever that was, you fixed it.
Whoever stopped vacuuming.
Mm-hmm.
What's everybody drinking? I'm drinking a glass of wine.
Me too.
I'm drinking one of the pear ciders you brought over last night.
Oh, good.
I had some
Oh, you
coffee.
went over to Sean's?
I did. We had a little game night last night, and I took a bottle of wine over there, and we ended up not drinking it. So I brought it home because Catherine said that if I left it there, she would drink it by herself. And she seemed to think that there was something wrong with that. So I took it away. But
So
now
you
I'm sitting here drinking it by myself.
I'm like, who
You're
doesn't?
not by yourself. You're with us.
It's true.
man.
I'm surrounded by friends, virtual friends. Real
And there's
friends,
nothing-
virtually.
And there's nothing wrong with drinking a bottle of wine by yourself.
Thanks, man.
Really. Yeah.
Did you try that mango thing that you bought in Palm Springs? Did you try that yet?
No. I haven't.
I'm curious to know what that tastes like.
Yeah, I've had it before. It's fairly sweet, but like I said, when you combine it with a few other things, you can make a nice like adult slushy beverage. Yum. Although it's getting cold now, it's like winter is finally setting.
Getting a little cold for slushy.
Yeah, you just need to cuddle up to somebody and have a slushy.
That sounded gross. Really? Cuddle up to somebody and have a slushy.
Yeah, that sounds cool, doesn't it? I mean, there's not much cuddling going on in society right now, but it'll change.
The Yamato done blown up.
They blew up. We should drink for the loss of Starfleet personnel.
Yeah, there are a lot of Starfleet officers that died on that day, I'll tell you.
What is that from? Da-da-da-da-da, on that day, I'll tell you.
I know I got it from somewhere, but I can't remember. What is that?
Is it Waiting for Guffman? Yeah, it's Waiting for Guffman. It's in the play at the end of Waiting for Guffman, where they're playing like the frontier people or whatever. And I think Catherine O'Hara, I think, says.
No, I'll tell you where it's from. In Ghostbusters. Rick Moranis, when he's the keymaster, says something about.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely.
A lot of the slurgs were on that day.
And these slurgs met their end on that day. Yeah, you're right.
So we are watching Star Trek Next Generation Season 2, Episode 11, Contagion, original air date March 18th, 1989. Encountering the superior technology of a very ancient race creates system malfunctions for a doomed Federation starship, for the Enterprise, and for an eavesdropping Romulan warbird.
So, a ship... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a ship contagion. It's a ship virus. It's a computer virus is the contagion that they're referring to. Erin, what do you think the IMDb rating of this episode? Clearly, you thought it was a great episode.
6.
May?
7.
Anybody else?
4.
Yeah, 6.2.
I'm gonna reach low. Let me go low 5.
7.7.
Oh.
It's just way
That's
too
pretty
high.
high.
Yeah, there's Romulans in it. That's probably why.
But so a ship got blown up, and you guys still say the episode was meh?
I don't know.
It's already happened. Like,
nothing else really happens other than that. Like I said, you get some Romulans, which is nice because you get to see the cool Romulan shoulder blade, the uniforms.
Oh yeah, they do have pretty big. They have big padded shoulders.
Yeah, the shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, this updated CGI ship, I'm down with. It looks cool. I'm trying to imagine like it's. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
they are.
They do look pretty sweet.
We saw them once already this year
Yes.
on this show, right? There was an episode
Yes.
in the first season that was about the Romulans.
Yeah, that was the one where they sort of announced their presence, that they weren't going to be just quiet anymore.
Uh-huh.
Look at that outfit right there.
It looks warm, comfortable.
It's like out of a music video.
Yeah. Like, if you had Starfleet uniforms or those uniforms, I think I would pick the other uniforms. Starfleet is a little, I don't know. I mean, it's colorful, I suppose, but it seems basic now.
It's a little bit.
It seems basic.
Yeah.
It does, right?
Well, yeah, I guess I can understand. Yeah. Bad guys always have cooler outfits than the heroes. I mean,
But not nearly as practical. Like, what's the practicality of trying to fight in one of those uniforms?
Yeah, where's the pee hole on that thing?
At least these guys have zippers down the front.
Where's the deal? I mean, I was gonna say
The question of the century: where's the pee hole on that thing?
I think you're right, Erin. The more fancy fashion is, the harder it is to take care of, basic functions, right? Like those big hoop dresses. I think those took a long time to get in and out of.
They probably did.
Well, they had helpers back then, right?
Sure. But even
only
then,
rich people wore shit like that because you needed 4 people to help you get in and out of it. You had to be able to have the servants to wear stuff like that.
You just have to have a more
maid.
You had to have more practical, thing about like you would always just have to go to the bathroom before you got dressed.
Cool.
There was no, you couldn't question that. It was just, you better go pee now, because if you have to pee later, you're fucked.
Yep.
weren't there actors who've had to deal with that, like being in outfits, just special outfits that it was like hard for them to get in and out of? Kate Beckinsale, maybe, in her Underworld series.
I'd have to imagine like any of the superhero costumes that they in all the movies nowadays, those got to be just a nightmare to get in and out of.
Chloe Bennett did
getting
show
Batman
off of her Blake
in and out of his things
outfit.
gotta be crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
She talked about there were 14 snaps on her outfit that they had to unsnap for her to go pee.
Who?
Chloe Bennett from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
From S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh.
She did this. She did an Agent AF show where she did a monologue, and then she actually brought out her Quake outfit and talked about how hard it was to wear and to go pee.
Yeah, I've got to imagine the Wonder Woman outfit is no like walk in the park to get on and off either.
None of them. They're all.
Which one though? The recent one?
The new, Gal Gadot's like the Wonder Woman. That looks like it's probably hard to get in and out of.
Yeah, right. At some point, I might just choose to wear some Depends.
Because it doesn't look like, because it's basically a bikini bottom, right, that she's wearing on the bottom. But it doesn't look like you can take that part off. It's by itself. Like it seems like it's all
layered,
one
attached
thing.
to something.
Yeah. I don't think you can just slip the bottoms off and take care of business. I think it's a whole production.
In the new one, she's got that full gold medal costume that she's got on. That's really got to be uncomfortable.
Oh, right.
I love
that
this
movie.
device
That movie that we're never going to get to see.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's slated for December as of right now.
Sure it is.
Yep.
Wait, you're sounding a little pessimistic.
Has anybody seen Tenet?
No,
I have not seen Tenet.
No one went to the drive-in to
There's
go
nowhere
see
to
Tenet?
see it here.
You can go see.
No.
There's a drive-in. You can go see it in Paramount.
Have you heard about reviews on it?
Like
on Tenet? Yeah, just from the internet or people who have watched it, or.
I've heard some people say it was really good that have seen it, but no.
I heard people went to see it not knowing what it was about, and after they saw it, they still didn't know what it was about.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. That it's very confusing in a very Christopher Nolan-y way.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
Sounds about par for the course.
Apparently, this one is even more inscrutable than his usual.
What's it about?
Time travel of some kind. But
oh god.
So if you're just joining us to this Warped in Progress, we're watching Captain Picard watch a bunch of audio logs.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like
very intense, and you could tell it's just a bunch of like his day in the studio was like a bunch of reaction shots. Like, okay, now do like you've heard something like interesting but also confusing at the same time, and go. Here it is. Yes, good. Give me more. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, that's lunch.
That's great. Patrick had an easy day that day. All he had to do was sit at his desk and look concerned.
Uh-oh.
Or it's not working right.
Malfunction's happening.
Have you seen the bloopers of people walking
Erin,
into
yeah, I was
doors?
just going to ask Erin. Erin, do you know that the doors on the ship are actually operated by stagehands, right? Who are pulling them open and closed, right? And apparently sometimes they miss the cue to pull the door open.
Or
and the
sometimes
actors,
it's just an evil stagehand.
Yeah, maybe it's just an evil stagehand. And the actors will just like bump their noses into the doors. There's lots of
you gotta treat the stagehands right.
Yeah, you do. Be nice to the crew. And there's lots of videos online of blooper reels and stuff of them smacking into the doors. One half of the door opening, but not the other half. Stuff like that.
Sweet.
That's the thing. I forget what I was watching, but someone else who works probably an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, they were like, that still is how they operate doors on all TV shows. It's just crew members opening them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like Orville must be doing it.
I mean, it's not like they haven't figured out automatic door opening. Like every supermarket has. So there's probably some kind of union rule that only stagehands are allowed to operate door openings.
So
this is probably cheaper to assemble and disassemble
than to put in a whole. Yeah, that's probably right, because they're made out of plywood and shit. So it's probably easier to just have a dude
hooking up all the wiring and everything.
You can really control the timing there, and plus, does it take out the story to watch the person like try to open the door, the actor who's trying to have their line and stuff?
They are trying to set an example.
There's I think it was the third season of Fargo. I don't know if anybody watches Fargo.
I want to. I aspire to.
The female cop that's sort of the main character in the show has a thing where no automatic doors ever open for her for some reason. Like that was just sort of a weird trait that they gave the character for some reason. So anytime she walks into a grocery store, it just won't open for her.
Nice.
And they never really explain why. It just is a thing that happens.
She's got like weird magnetic energy.
Yeah.
I like that when Wesley walks into Picard's office and says, "Can I talk to you for a second, sir?" They give Picard a reaction shot where he takes a long time to think about it before he says, "Come on in, Wesley."
Okay, I have a question about Wesley, actually, and the hate for him.
Yes.
I don't know much about him as a human being, like as a civilian, not a character on a show. But is he gay in real life?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if maybe people were picking up on some kind of vibe and it was like homophobic how they were reacting to him back in the day.
I don't think it was that. I think it was just that people were like,
who's this kid?
Why is there a kid on the ship? This is stupid. He's lame. Like, it was just nerds doing what they do, finding something. I just wasn't sure if there was some kind of bullying undercurrent that was like. I mean, Will Wheaton has definitely said he got bullied. Like, he got hate mail and shit.
I was just trying to sense, like, why? Because he's just, like, a young guy. But I guess that's just how it goes sometimes.
I think it was more like the uncomfortable feeling of recognizing yourself. Like, I think a lot of nerds saw themselves in Wesley and didn't like what they saw. And we're like, oh, is that what I'm like?
You see him grow up. He goes from like, oh yeah, I like that he Earl Grey, and he gets like a bird of paradise.
I was saying that was the first time he ever ordered tea Earl Grey.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. It was the first time I noticed. Yeah.
This is the first time. It definitely becomes a thing.
Like brand. Yeah.
Yep.
But that was the very first time.
That's the very first time right there. Yep.
And it doesn't go well.
And he doesn't even get it.
And he doesn't get to drink it.
He gets a nice succulent.
First Wesley comes in and then he doesn't get his tea. It's just a terrible
bad day for Jean Luc.
Jean Luc's terribly bad.
Incredibly horrible day.
Horrible day.
Oh yeah, then his friend and his sister ship both got blown up.
And a bunch of people got blown up.
Yeah.
That's how the day started. The day started with a bunch of people getting blown up.
He was ready to put that behind him, but
yeah.
And now I don't get tea. Now this day sucks.
Yeah, man, you need your comforts.
On Voyager, Janeway's drink was coffee. That was how one of the things they did to distinguish her from Picard was that she was a huge coffee drinker. And they did a whole episode where the ship was out of coffee, because the premise of the show, right, is that they're way far away from Starfleet, so they don't have access to all of the like standard amenities or whatever. So they did a whole episode of Voyager where the ship ran out of coffee, and it just turned Janeway into a real cranky lady. Like, she was just in a very bad mood. And basically the whole episode is about the ship trying to find coffee so that Janeway will stop being so angry with everybody.
Love it.
They can't just replicate coffee? Like, they can't replicate... don't they just replicate their food?
Well, but that's the whole thing, is that they don't have the replicating things takes energy, and they're on a budget energy wise.
Okay.
So they have to pick and choose what they spend their energy.
Be rough.
Does she have a
thing that I couldn't give up?
What's that?
Yeah.
Coffee's the only thing that I just could not live without.
Yeah. So you'd be like Janeway. You'd be like, we got to find some coffee.
It's like my morning ritual is making that pot in the morning. Like, it would mess me up.
Do you have a specific kind of coffee that you like?
I'm not a snobby about what beans I drink or whatever, but I do need that pot in the morning. I prefer a medium to a dark roast, and I don't take anything in it. I don't put any milk or sugar in it, so I'm bitter that way.
You just drink black coffee. Huh?
This is some
versus the elevator.
The great
nice.
LeVar Burton throwing himself against walls.
Oh, look at that.
That's good.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah,
with your space.
Oh, no.
Oh,
wow.
Jeez, he's really going for it.
Mike, it's a 7.7. This is awesome. I didn't make it this far.
That's pretty
Oh,
good.
no.
Got us. It's right there.
That was good. I liked that.
That was
Oh
great.
my God, it's still going on. If this was,
Damn it,
that was
Enterprise
me.
leave Jordy
Oh,
alone.
Look at that. Look at it. Bravo.
At least you made it
Bravo.
to the bridge eventually.
Yep.
Like,
wow,
Destroy the probe.
Went through like a dryer right there, a tumble dry.
That was at least 6 out of the 7.6 right there.
Right?
He didn't quite nail the dismount, but he did. He had really good form everywhere else.
He didn't stand up, put his arms in the air, and go Starfleet.
Yeah.
It's in a book.
Erin, on the spectrum of love, where would you place like coffee versus popcorn versus possum?
We had some great.
FMK, coffee, popcorn, pasta.
Oh, that's an interesting FMK. Oh my God, kill the possum. Done. No.
Oh my God, you guys.
Yeah, you finally gave one that's gonna stump her.
Yeah, you're
Well,
not.
goodbye, everybody. That's the end.
That's the end of Orb.
Oh my God. I'm retiring.
We got to the heat death of the universe. Yay!
I mean, you gotta marry coffee, right?
I guess so. I don't know if I said. I feel like it's too warm.
Then you fuck the popcorn.
Either that or the possum, you guys.
Stop.
I just think that'd be mean to the possum.
Leave the possum
Yeah.
alone.
Erin would be the gentlest lover.
But like,
of
what
all.
counts as possum consent? I feel like that could be problematic.
I think you have to assume that the possums are okay with it, or else the question
okay.
gets
Absolutely.
creepy.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Come on. We're not savages.
I'm more comfortable killing popcorn than I am killing a possum, so.
You could live without popcorn if you had to. You could find a substitute for pop.
I guess. There's some other crunchy textures in the world.
There's lots of crunchy things out there.
Just have to start.
Do you like do you like pumpkins, like roasted pumpkin seeds? 'Tis the
I
season
do.
for roasted pumpkin seeds.
Yeah, I do. I got a good deal on them last time. I used like the pretzel salt, like the chunkier kind. That really worked out.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
I haven't made them in a long time, but when I was a kid,
Yeah.
my mom would roast the pumpkin.
Sure,
seeds
whenever
out of
you're carving a
chocolate.
pumpkin.
Yeah.
The trick about Southern California is if you carve a pumpkin, it needs to be damn near Halloween because it'll rot in like half a day. It's hot here. So you really have to like get your timing right. So sometimes we just don't get it done,
Yeah.
you know, depending on when Halloween falls. But Halloween is on a Saturday this time. And there's going to be a full moon.
So
For
she's
Halloween?
explaining to this dum-dum that how to put a leg brace on somebody. 'Cause
Yeah.
I love this scene.
he's not a very good doctor if he doesn't know how to put a leg brace on somebody.
Well, it's
Also,
not a teaching hospital.
I guess it's because it's the future. He's never had to do that before.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. He's like,
Right,
that's such a primitive method. And she's like, use your hands and your heart and your mind. Do it. That was a good line. That was a good line.
Did you see Data have a really human moment after he tossed Jordy away? He was all like surprised and shocked and like, oh my god.
Jordy is really getting the shit beat out of him.
Getting beat
right?
crap out today.
Apparently the ship has a real problem with Jordy.
Well, he's engineer. Wasn't that the first group that was killed in the Yamato? They said that 18 engineers were killed, and then the ship blew up, so everyone was killed ultimately. But first, it got the engineers.
Because the engineers are the ones that can fight back.
They know what's up.
So there
Just
is a
having a
reason
lovers
that Jordy's
quarrel.
being it.
It's fine.
Wow. The dragon is biting.
Yes. I've had enough of you, Jordy, from trying to
Yep.
penetrate my holes.
Oh, jeez. Just trying to...
Your Jeffries tubes.
Yes. Keep out of my Jeffries tubes, Jordy.
I'm on warped core, not your.
So, what do you guys
warped
know
core.
about Iconians? Is that like a whole thing? Is there a lot of back history with all that, or is it just this episode?
What's the Iconians?
Well, that's where they are.
Planet. That's why they're over here. Is they went to this archaeological like.
Yeah, it's an Iconian computer virus that it's infecting the ship.
And they find like a portal. It's like a time portal that's sort of like the one. There's an episode of original series about a planet with a time portal. It's the one where Spock and Bones go to the freezing planet with the lady.
Yeah, sure. The
The
library.
episode's called Spock Has Sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure that's it.
Really? No.
Wait, who's that?
You had for a second, Jacob. You did. Yeah.
I think the answer is this is the first. I think the answer, Erin, is that this is the first time.
Okay, I never know when something's like has a whole
a
like,
callback.
workbook that you can fill out.
There's a Deep Space Nine episode that calls back to this episode, but I don't know if this is a callback to anything else.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Her hair has great body.
Yeah.
And
Great
brilliant.
shape. Mm-hmm.
It knows where it's going in life. Oh,
I dare say she's got better hair than Riker right now.
Right? Do they still make mousse? Remember mousse?
Yes.
I still use mousse every
You have
day.
mousse? You got a mousse dealer?
I got like 8 cans of mousse. I just store them up.
Do you need mousse? Is that
Costco
Costco mousse
mousse?
where you're at?
No, it's
Like she's got to be having
Herbal
it.
Essence Mousse is the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Moose. I
It's
didn't
still
know.
out
I
there.
didn't know. I didn't know it was still out there. But
You can
of course
still
would have to
find
be
it.
Xbox.
Mousse.
If you need some, I can sell you some cheap.
I guess it's good if you have
I
curly
don't
hair.
need it. Some.
Yeah. What's
just
the
think
dominant
you don't.
product now? Gel? What are people using?
Like
Mousse.
that's like no, like that. The stuff that comes in the little hockey puck, jar. like
Oh,
the shape.
pomade.
Yeah, pomade.
But it's
Is
like
that
not
the-
the
is that
greasy
the
pomade.
preferred?
But it's not greasy. It's like fancy now. It's
Yeah.
like
And it holds.
it's like a
Yeah,
clay.
Doesn't make
It
it
doesn't
weird.
look-
American. That's
Stiff.
what I have. Is
And
that,
it doesn't
like,
look like your hair's wet and hard. It styles it
Yeah.
with keeping its same sort of fluffy look.
Got it.
That's the kind I have.
That's
is
what they always
that
used on the Queer
American
show.
Crew. pomade.
Right. Yeah, that's become popular. Just curious. Short
I
hair.
remember using
It's
pomade
good
back in the
stuff,
day.
and it smells good. It smells good. That's why I
Yeah.
like it.
Well, it sounds like there's been some advancements
Yeah,
since the
I'm glad
late 80s.
pomade isn't
The last
greasy
check
anymore.
mousse.
Yeah, there's been some advancements in hairstyling technologies, I guess.
I used to use hairspray in the 80s from the bangs that couldn't move. Had to lock that in. Had to lock that in for the day.
That's why we don't have interstellar travel yet, because they've been working all on the hair product technology.
Yeah.
That's where all the world's R&D is gone.
You've got to be okay with yourself before you can be okay with others.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, people want to make sure they look good when they go out.
I mean, the main thing that happened between then and now is that, like, they started making stuff specifically for guys to use. Like, it became okay for guys to care about, like,
Of hair product.
making your hair look good
Well,
and all that
the
stuff. Like,
smells can be more whatever, man friendly.
when the whole metrosexual thing happened, and it was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's okay to care about clothes and hair and, you know, styling and shit.
That's the only time people care about advancing thing is when a man needs it.
Yeah, it's almost really true. Like, okay, there's more background noise happening again. Whoever's doing that, thank you. Stop. That was fast.
So if you can stop it that
weird.
easily, what the hell are you doing to make it happen?
What's going on, you guys?
No, it might be
Who's
me. It might
moosing
be
right now?
This cheap ass.
Who is moosing?
I kind of
When
missed.
you first said "remember mousse," Erin, I thought you were talking about like chocolate mousse, and I was like, "Yeah, chocolate mousse is great." Like,
Or the giant antlered animal.
There's so many things you could, so many different directions.
Remember
remember mousse?
Bullwinkle was my favorite.
Remember the beginning of Northern
Mousse the guy
Exposure?
Archie?
That's right.
There's a moose in Archie. He
Yeah,
dates
the big dumb guy is named Moose. Right?
Sabrina. No, Sabrina. Not Sabrina. There's a dark-haired girl with short hair who's sort of a side character. That's her boyfriend. Anyway.
They're like in
The
front
best
of a big
moose is the moose from the
basketball.
beginning of Northern Exposure.
Yeah.
That was my favorite moose.
That is the correct answer.
What's Deanna's deal right now?
She's worried.
She's in a bad mood.
Voices cry out.
Troy's
That would
always
be the
worried.
problem with having her skill set. You'd just be worried all the time.
Yeah, because she feels all the emotions of everyone on this. So when everyone's nervous, she's nervous.
Yeah.
I guess is what she's
No
saying,
thanks.
I don't need to know what everybody else is feeling.
No, I think I am actually pretty sensitive to what other people are feeling. It's exhausting sometimes. It can be good.
You should learn how to do tarot cards. You could be a tarot card.
Mm.
We all need to develop hobbies in our quarantined time. I've been learning Japanese, you guys.
That's cool.
Oh,
How are you doing it? What
I'm
format?
at the very beginning, so I don't really know it yet.
Konbanwa.
I'm still on basic vocabulary.
Are you taking like an online class or like
Duolingo is like, it's like
yeah, it's an app, right?
It's free, and it's free to do. I mean, they have a paid level, but I'm just doing the free levels, and they teach you the basic. Right now, I'm just on like learning the basic words, so I haven't gotten very, and learning the alphabet. The hiragana is like the alphabet. So
it's beautiful. The alphabet.
That's what I'm doing to better myself during these
Good.
times.
That is good.
I still need to learn how to play the ukulele because I got a ukulele for Christmas last year and I haven't touched it once. And we're coming up on December again, so
there might be a check-in.
Right?
For
really
whoever
need
gave
to
you
go down.
it was your mom, right?
I really need to go down on the ukulele lessons.
Well, maybe you can doctor up that Zoom and just like do a little like tap the ukulele, but have it like playing in the back, like.
I like it.
The boys are learning ukulele for music class this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we had to buy
Over.
ukuleles.
We can jam.
You can jam, exactly. We were talking about it, and my brother-in-law was like, "What's that classic song with the ukulele?" And we're like, and he goes, the Somewhere Over the Rainbow. We're like, yeah, that classic Somewhere Over the Rainbow, so famously written for ukulele 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm. But it has become
everybody knows that.
Classic.
Everybody knows that.
No, the remake from 15 years ago has become
that's the only version young people.
That's the classic version of the song.
Things become classic pretty quick now. I saw on Netflix it was like retro, and it was like Dexter. I was like,
it's true. That's why things can always be reinvented.
All right, I got a question for you all. I was thinking about Cruel Intentions.
Hell yeah.
We talked a lot about on that show about how 90s that movie was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about what the most 90s movie ever made was. And I think I have the answer, and I want to hear what you guys think is the most 90s movie made.
Hard one.
Do you have any just right off the top of your head?
Clueless.
Yeah, I know what mine is. I would say Clueless.
Clueless?
I would say Clueless.
That's mine. Clueless.
Or like those movies like Singles, or there was like another one where they're like young and they're like wearing plaid and they're like doing their
Reality
thing.
Bites, maybe Reality Bites.
Yeah.
Isn't that Clueless?
Reality Bites, yeah, like.
Oh,
All right,
Heathers.
I'm gonna throw one out at you, and you're gonna laugh.
What's the Brendan Fraser one where he's with like? Never mind.
George of the Jungle.
No, With Honors.
School Ties.
Would be not a bad choice.
Which one?
Scream is a very 90s
Scream.
movie.
I thought of it. Mystery Men.
That's interesting.
And I'll explain to you why. First, that movie would never be made in any other decade but the 90s. They wouldn't make it now. They wouldn't have made it.
What is Mystery
They
Man?
could totally make it now.
They would never make that movie now. Never make that movie.
It would
now.
just be an internet video.
It'd be different.
Yeah, it would never. Movies like that don't get made anymore.
It was a superhero.
The cast. Who's in that? Janine
Ben Stiller,
Garofalo is in that
Jean
movie.
Garofalo.
William H. Macy.
Yeah, anything with Janine
Hank
Garofalo.
Azaria. Freaking.
Erin, you never watched a Mystery Men?
I don't know what that is.
It was Ben Stiller, wasn't it?
They were like superheroes with really lame superpowers.
Okay. That's
It
fine.
had
Yeah, it's a spoof of superhero movies about.
Wes Studi.
Well, I don't really watch superhero movies. So
No. I'm not.
less likely to watch a spoof.
And nobody watched it. It was a
No.
terrible. Like,
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
the perfect. That's the
But I
perfect
was a Ben
example of
Stiller
a great
fan, so I
concept
watched
that was
everything else.
executed terribly.
Nice.
Like the director is just a terrible. That's the only film he ever directed. All he ever did, other than that, was TV commercials. That was the only movie he ever made.
Well, that's one more movie than
it
I've
is
ever
a
seen.
fairly funny movie.
I love that movie. I
you
will
know,
defend that movie to the end.
Okay.
The other reason, the third, let's see, who else is in that movie?
Janine Garofalo's in
Janine
it.
Garofalo, Jeffrey
Or-
Rush is the
Janine
bad guy.
Garofalo, you have an excellent point. Janine Garofalo may be the definitive 90s celebrity.
Yeah.
Like, she just kind of is the 90s.
Greg Kinnear is in it. Another one where it's like there was a time where Greg Kinnear was a movie star.
Oh, I loved it. What was the one? No. The one with Jack Nicholson. Where
As
he's
good as it gets.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Loved
they
that
did.
movie when
Yeah.
it came out. Helen Hunt. That was great.
Ugh, I hated that movie. But
Oh, I loved it. I loved that movie.
I had a real problem with the portrayal of gay people in that movie.
Sure.
That's fair.
And finally, the last reason why, what song is used the most in that movie over and over again? All
Jump 'em
Star
Up?
by
I don't
Smash
remember.
Mouth. All Star by Smash Mouth.
Yeah, well, okay.
You don't get much more 90s than that.
Hmm.
I don't know. I wouldn't.
That makes me think of Shrek, not of Mystery Men.
Well, I know, but they use it a lot in Mystery Men too.
You know the classic animated movie Shrek?
Yes, classic.
Yeah. That classic film.
I guess if
The
it
movie also has Paul Rubens in it,
nice.
playing a superhero whose superpower is farting, called the Spleen.
But the fact that he got a role at that point was good because that was after the scandal.
Yeah, it was sort of like in that 90s time when he had foregone the Pee-wee persona and was trying to be a movie star on his own.
Well, when was the career-ending moment?
Early.
That was 92, 93.
And when this movie's after,
99.
right? Yeah. Because there was a time where he couldn't get any work.
But then he was in The Vampire Slayer.
I closely followed Pee Wee Herman's career. I can't sort of overemphasize how in love with him I was.
Sure.
From 1987 until... I just didn't really understand what was going on with the scandal. I just knew it was problematic because it meant his show.
But he couldn't be the Pee Wee Herman anymore because that was sort of a kid's thing. He couldn't get that.
Yeah, it did the party, which
So then he had to start to be an actual, he had to do things as himself.
Yeah.
I actually like him as himself, or not Pee Wee Herman as an actor in other roles. He's a really great actor.
I agree.
Yeah. I like Paul. Everybody Paul Rubens. He got screwed unfairly for that whole thing.
Yeah. Too much.
And Pee-wee's an amazing creation. One of them, an iconic character.
Well, it was so vibrant, and fun, and wacky, and weird. I was into it.
And you were in love with Pee-wee, Erin?
I wanted to marry him. It was like my blow out the birthday candles birthday wish for several years in a row. I was like head over heels with a man.
What age
were you? I was 7.
Oh,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 40.
Still now.
I mean that first Pee-wee movie, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, is a classic. That movie's spectacular.
It was just fun. It was weird and zany.
Yeah, that movie is
retro 50s. The aesthetic and his friends were all cool. Because I guess I knew even at a young age, I was into people that weren't mainstream. Doing their own thing.
It's sort of interesting because I think of Philippe I can see Philippe as a cross between Ryan Felipe and Paul Rubens or Pee Wee Herman. Nice. So I think you married correctly.
Your taste gets that young.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Philippe is the ultimate man child.
Sure. Both a man and a child. Yeah. He's
just like Pee Wee Herman.
Being responsible right now.
Sean, have you shown your kids Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
I've not. Where is it? Is it on streaming somewhere?
I don't know. I don't know.
I hope so.
I'm sure you could buy it.
Do you think they would be into it, or do you think they would think it was weird and wacky?
No idea. We showed them. We didn't show them. We just happened to be. We were going to sleep the other night, and I was watching Maverick, the Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster movie.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Was that
and the boys came in and sat and watched it with us. So it was funny.
Yeah, you never know. It's gonna just
work.
So they're trying to figure out who's the bad guy. Why is it? It's well, everyone's just sort of turning on each other. There's no good guy, no bad guy. Oh, it's on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah, you should show them Pee-wee's Big Adventure and see if they like it. I bet they would. I bet they will. John Henry, I think.
Yeah, I think John Henry.
Yeah. Oh, we can edit out your children's names.
That's okay.
Sorry.
He definitely will. He definitely tends to like movies more than Wyatt does. Wyatt usually falls asleep.
Yeah.
He gets that from Phil Hartman was a co-writer on Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
That makes sense to me.
He was on the show.
Well, I know he was a friend of his. I didn't know he was one of the writers of the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had 2 Pee-wee dolls. I broke the first one because I pulled the string too many times, and it made us too high. But it was just a defect because it happened again. I mean,
Or
I got
maybe you just pulled it too many times, Erin? Maybe.
Yeah. I could do the laugh. I don't think I could pull it off now. But I used to like impersonate him.
That is so awesome to
I had a
know
Billy
that.
Pony doll.
Uh-huh.
My parents had to drive to like another state to find it for Christmas.
Oh my god. Your
Yeah.
parents are amazing.
They drove to Ohio, you guys, to get me my Billy Baloney doll.
Not Ohio, no.
They went to Toledo.
This was before you could just order something from
Yeah,
Amazon
totally.
and have it
That's-
delivered to
that's-
your door.
Really going out of their way. Is
Mhm.
that I'm super impressed with your parents. They're
Thanks. I still have it. It's in the attic back home. It's carefully preserved.
Hey, Sean,
Yes,
I
sir.
feel like this woman playing the Romulan commander, we're going to see her again. That actress looks super familiar to me. Can you look it up and see if I'm right?
Let's take a look.
It's Angie Harmon.
Yeah,
It's
that's right.
Angie Dickinson.
One of the Angies.
Angie Bassett.
Let's
It's
see.
Angie Jolie.
Yeah, that's it. So is this,
I've been rewatching The Sopranos because Stan hasn't seen the last season, so we started back at the beginning and we've been watching the full thing all the way through. And it's so good. It's still so
Edie Falco
good.
is probably one of my favorites of all. I liked Nurse Jackie a lot.
Yeah, she's
So-
absolutely amazing.
the
But anyway-
actress's name is Carolyn Seymour.
Uh-huh.
She is mostly a voiceover actress. You probably recognize her because she plays a part in all the Mass Effect video games.
I recognize her face.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
her.
it might be that that's just how her face looks, so it's really easy to be a Romulan.
Who does she voice in the Mass Effect games?
She does. It looks like she does come back as a Romulan in other episodes. She plays Dr. Chakwas.
Oh. Okay. Maybe on one of the
That
planets or
makes
something.
sense.
Yeah.
I think it's the main medical officer, right?
She's also in the Gears of War as Queen Mira.
I'm not as familiar with that one.
Well, guys, that was the episode right there. We did.
Cool.
Yeah, it felt like we blasted through that.
Was the other one started? I missed it.
Mhm.
It
Ooh, looks
disconnected.
good. Getting some protein.
Anyway, on The Sopranos, Uncle Junior is always
Yeah.
talking about how his ideal woman was Angie Dickinson. That's what made me think of that.
That works.
They're always talking about how beautiful they thought Angie Dickinson was back in the 60s.
She was.
She was running around with Sinatra and Sammy and all those guys.
You know who I didn't realize was as gorgeous as she was because she's kind of become more plastic surgery is Dolly Parton, man. She was like Marilyn Monroe level back in the day.
Oh, yeah. I love Dolly Parton.
I love her now too, but she's just a little more Joker style with the
Yeah, well,
surgery.
she's definitely had some work done.
Yeah.
She's like,
What
But,
I
like,
still like about
she
her is
makes
that
jokes
she doesn't
about
try
it,
to
like-
hide it at all.
Yeah,
You know,
she's open
she's
about
very
it.
Her
upfront
whole
about it.
shtick is like front and center.
her whole
She-
shtick is that this is a put on, and we're
Yeah.
we're all in on it together.
It costs a lot of money to look as cheap as I look. Kind of
Yeah,
good line about that.
and her,
But going
her
back
soul
to the
is awesome.
where she was more natural. I mean, her natural features were like as good as it gets. I mean,
yeah,
Just-
sure.
I was watching a documentary on her. It's on Netflix. That's like she put out, I guess, last year. I watched it last night. It was really, really good.
There's a.
I was
Recommendations.
watching on like QVC. Like she has some kind of like 30 DVD box set of like her variety show from the 80s and
Nice.
concerts and like every guest appearance she ever made on a talk show and like all of this stuff is on
a
this
fan
like
box.
Time Life, box
Hell
set
yeah.
type deal. And I was very tempted to buy the Dolly Parton box set.
Well, have you watched the documentary on Netflix about her? Because there's a lot of footage on there. That might scratch.
I haven't seen the documentary. I did listen to a really good podcast about her.
Yeah.
It was like a 9-episode, like little mini-series podcast that NPR did about her and her, like, it wasn't just about her. It was more about like her impact on America, like pop culture and America.
Yeah.
So it was looking at all these different aspects of America, but using Dolly Parton as sort of like the lens to look through.
Nice.
And it was really interesting because they talked about like race and, all these feminism and all these different aspects of American life, but sort of like using Dolly as the focus. It was a really good podcast.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Dolly Parton's America.
Dolly Parton's America. It was
This week, Wolf recommendations, Dolly Parton.
Recommendations.
Just all
Jake-
Dolly Parton.
Jake, play the recommendation jingle.
Yeah.
Recommendations.
Yes, Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
Yeah, Dolly Parton.
And we're done.
Recommendations. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Speaking of Dolly, does everyone know that Dolly has a Christmas movie coming out on Netflix in a few weeks?
It's her
Amazing.
One.
First of all, it's a musical that Dolly wrote all the songs for. It's called Christmas. It's called Christmas on the Square. It stars Christine Baranski and Dolly Parton, and it's gonna be amazing.
First song goes, "Stumble out of bed and tumble into Christmas."
Yeah. Do it.
I'm sold already.
If she just rewrote the lyrics to all of her existing songs,
December
I would be fine with that.
I think you're onto something. For sure.
Wow. Looks like we know what she's gonna do for her third movie.
How long was that Netflix series, Erin?
Avid warped listener Dolly Parton stole the idea.
If you're listening, Dolly, you're welcome.
We'll give it to you you can have this one on us.
The documentary was like an hour and a half.
Oh, really?
It covered a lot. And it had a lot of footage because she did it. So, there's a lot of her singing, which was just exactly what I needed to watch last night. Her voice is like healing to me.
Anybody ever seen Dolly perform live? I've seen her a couple times.
Oh,
a couple, really?
Yep. I went once with my parents. They wanted to go and see her. She played the Hollywood Bowl few summers ago.
Good.
I took my parents.
Venue.
My parents. They drove down and took them to the Hollywood Bowl to see Dolly. It was great. She puts on a great show. Like, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's one of those people that loves her audience, so takes care of her audience.
Yeah.
Understands there's no her without an audience.
And she knows you just want to hear the hits.
Yeah, exactly.
She doesn't try and put a bunch of shit in there that you're not interested in. Right. She's like, these people came here to hear Jolene, and they came here to hear Coat of Many Colors, and they came here to hear 9 to 5, and she just plays the hits, and it's amazing. And it was a great show.
Cool. Well, something to look forward to.
I would highly recommend going to see Dolly Parton in concert if we ever get to go see concerts.
We can go see concerts again.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Well, on that note.
Yeah. Dolly Parton.
We're done.
Tag it, Matt.
I didn't know what happened. I stopped paying attention to what happened.
That's okay.
They won.
The virus, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they figured out the problem and
Data was dead for like 10 seconds, you guys.
Yeah, I was like, he
rescued the Romulans, so now they owe him one or something like that.
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah,
they didn't kill
Give him the solution.
Like I said, I sort of watched the episode.
Does anybody have any other recommendations? I have one more before we go.
Go ahead.
Borat 2.
Oh, you watch it?
Watched the new Borat movie a couple days ago with Stan, and it's very, very funny. If you liked Borat, if you liked that first movie,
sure,
you will like this one as well. I was a little skeptical going into it. Like, is this chick still going to be funny, 20 years later?
You can really get people.
It was very fun.
It's amazing that he can still fool people, yeah.
And he has a girl. He has a young woman, playing his daughter in this one, and she's really kind of the star of the movies, and she's amazing. So it was good to add something new, so that it wasn't just him. You know, the whole movie is about him and his relationship with her, and this actress who plays the daughter is really, really funny. So,
all right,
Borat 2 on Amazon Prime.
They were using some sort of like scandal spits on there. Did you find like they like the Giuliani?
Well, his whole deal is that he like pranks people, right? Who don't know it's him.
Yeah.
So they managed to get Rudy Giuliani to do an interview, and they just fucked with Rudy Giuliani. Like it's very satisfying watching them just show Rudy Giuliani to be the dirty old man that
scumbag
we all knew he was.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
So they do that kind of like, you know, prank based kind of stuff or secret camera kind of stuff. It was great. It was really funny.
Cool, man.
They got anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Do it.
All done. Well, thanks very much for listening, everybody. Please use iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts to rate, review, and subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at Warp the Podcast, on Twitter at Warped Trek. You can follow me at Host Warped. You can follow Min to learn about our Dungeons and Dragons and Call of Cthulhu podcasts and live streams at Wet Maynard. You can email us. I forgot about this, but for a while, but we have an email. warpthepodcast at gmail.com. Send us your emails. Maybe if we like them, we'll read them on the show. You might go to patreon.com.
We don't like them.
Yeah. The better, actually.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/warped to become a subscriber and get access to bonus material and additional episodes. Instagram.com/lunar_flare for merchandise, including the now iconic Down to Pond Far t-shirt.
The classic.
Sean, back to you.
It's retro.
Thank you all for listening, and my name is Sean.
I'm Pat.
I'm Jake.
Erin.
Finley.
And I'm May.
Good night, everybody.
Get out of here.